Welcome to Grace in the Shadows. This is Dr. Marla Behler and
Dr. J.
Dr. Jonathan Behler. Hello, everybody. Hope you are doing well today. We'd like to give a quick shout out to Madison Heights, Virginia. Woohoo!
Go Madison.
All right. You can check us out at graceintheshadowsor.org. You can text or call 251-244-4645, or you can email us at drjonathan at graceintheshadowsor.org. Well, today is going to be a little bit different.
Yes, we've got a guest here, Gabriel Behler.
Woohoo!
I know him. You know him from somewhere?
I know him well.
Yeah, he's our son.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's a student at Liberty University. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Gabriel.
Hello, everybody out there in the world. A little bit about myself. I just started my master's in clinical mental health counseling at Liberty University. What else would you guys like to know about me?
He's the biggest fan. He's our biggest fan.
I'm the biggest supporter, fan of Grace in the Shadows.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, that's a little, really just a student right now. So,
I'm very proud of this guy. I know we raise our kids, we rear our kids, we train them, but they're not ours. They're God's. And we really, when we look into Scripture, specifically Ephesians chapter 5, chapter 6, about the family, as Paul discusses it, we really try to rear our kids, train our kids. We're not perfect, but try to rear them and train them to be warriors for Christ. Don't you agree, Marla?
I definitely agree. And we're just very thankful for both of our children. And we're just excited to hear from Gabriel today.
And, he about a year and a half ago, tell us a little bit about what happened. You gave some bone marrow, right? You gave an organ.
I don't know about an organ, but
well, you got a shirt that says I'm an organ donor, but you're not an organ donor. It says that you donated some blood marrow.
See, yeah.
Well, talk us through that. Talk us through how you became a bone marrow donor.
All right. So I actually don't really know. It was one spring semester, maybe like a year and a half, like Dr. J said. So there was at school at Liberty, there was a booth set up outside one of the buildings. And they were basically trying to get people to sign up and like kind of swab DNA of your cheek. To put you in this database, this registry for to be a donor, potentially a donor, a match with somebody battling a blood disease, different types of cancer like leukemia. And so they were just kind of asking students passing by if they would like to do this free sign up. And so I didn't really understand what it was fully. And I decided to just do it. It was an easy process. They just swab the inside of your cheek. They send it away, send you an email, and that's pretty much it.
So you didn't donate an organ per se, but you did. It isn't just like donating blood. It's a little more complicated than that in a sense, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. But after that, I didn't really. I kind of just put it in the back of my mind. I really didn't think too much about it. Kind of just like, oh, well, I'm in this thing now, and we'll see if anything, comes to light through it. And then this year, and I think it was either March or April, I get a call. And if I'm being completely honest with everybody out there, I started getting a bunch of calls from this this foundation, the Be the Match, and I didn't answer.
The funny thing about it is, your dad got a call too, asking for you, and we were like, "What on earth?" We thought it was like a telemarketer making something up.
You got telemarketers. You're like, "Wow, I'm not going to answer." It just gets old, right? Telemarketers,
right? And I started getting these voicemails and whatnot, and I felt compelled to finally reach out to them and see what they had to say. And it turns out I got matched up with a 30-year-old male. I forget what he was battling, some blood disease. I don't know if it was leukemia. But so I got matched up with him. And a little bit of the process they take you through a bunch of questions, health related, your health history, family history. And then the next step would be to get your blood drawn from a local either hospital or some laboratory nearby, and they take a good amount of blood test, and they would send it to the doctors of the patient, and the doctor would kind of test and see if it was the best, if you are the best person to donate potentially. And throughout that process, I was, nervous, didn't really fully understand what I'd be getting into. So I did the blood draw, didn't hear back for over a month. I think it was either the end of May, maybe.
I think so.
So it was a full month and a half probably without hearing back from this foundation, this nonprofit, be the match. And eventually I got a call and they tell me that the doctors of the patient would not like to move forward. So that either means one or two things. Either, it's not going to help them much, which, worst case scenario,
right?
Very sad, but it happens. Or they got better and they didn't need it.
Right.
So we're hoping that along the lines of hopefully they got better.
Definitely.
And then about 3 days later, I get another call and I'm like, oh my, what is this?
Right.
So I asked them, is this connected with the 30-year-old that I was just told that I wasn't going to move forward with? And they tell you, no. And so you got matched up with a 15-year-old female battling leukemia. And before or after I didn't go through with, or they didn't go through with the 30-year-old, I think me and my mom had talked about, like, if I guess Dr. Marrow.
Oh, please.
We talked about how it was meant to be, and if anything were to come in the future, that would be what the Lord wants.
We were a little shocked that it was just 3 days later.
So 3 days later, I get matched with somebody else, and so I'm like, immediately, yeah, let's do it. Like, whatever I need to do, let's do it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be real here. I don't want people to think less of me. I'm just being honest. When I was 21, Gabriel, I wouldn't have done it. All right. And I would probably be hard pressed now unless it was family. I mean, that's something I struggle with. How about you?
Well, I was nervous. And we talked about this. We've talked about this. I don't know if I could be as sacrificial as you were. I mean, you just didn't even question it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Are you a Christian longing to honor God in every aspect of your life, including your finances? The Ask Ralph podcast is your guide to finding financial freedom, making wise money decisions, and aligning your resources with your faith. I'm the host, Ralph E. Stepp Jr. I bring a unique combination of expertise and genuine experience to the table. I've been through the highs and lows of managing money. I've made mistakes, but I've learned powerful lessons, and I want to share that journey with you. Get ready to ditch financial stress and use your resources to fulfill God's calling in your life. AskRalphPodcast.com.
I was a little bit skeptical, but he's not our son. I mean, he is our son, but he's God's.
Really?
He's God. Yeah, no, he is our son biologically, but he's God's.
Yeah.
And he felt God calling him, and who are we?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he is an adult.
Right.
Yep. So we'll turn it back over to you for more of your story.
Right. So we went through with the blood draw again. And this time, the first time I've never really given blood or had my blood drawn. But now I started to become a pro at it.
You are. You're a pro.
And so the day after that, I get a call and they already want to move forward, which usually they wait until it gets to the doctor and they make the decision. But the doctors already wanted to go through with it without the blood,
right.
blood being tested or whatnot. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, what else do I need to know? They're like, so the doctors, so usually there's two routes that they can go. The doctors can go with this transplant. And I'm not really fully knowledgeable about this, but one is where you're awake and pretty much they're taking your blood out of one arm. I think they separate the stem cells somehow, and then I think the blood goes back in to your arm. So it's pretty like simple, I guess. It takes hours and hours. Like, I think sometimes it could take up to like 8 hours. You're sitting there.
Yeah.
You're not able to move your arms because I think that could mess something up. That would be
hard, yeah.
And then there's another way. I think it's 10% of the time they do a surgical route where they put you to sleep and take out your bone marrow from around your lower back. And I kind of originally with the 30-year-old guy, I was like, it could just be easier doing the surgical route.
Right.
Get put to sleep, wake up,
be done. Yeah.
So then they told me that the surgical route is the way the doctors want to go. And then I was kind of like, oh, well, okay, this is real now. So,
right.
And I had to get more testing, get a physical. So it was a lot of, not too much time taken out of my life to go into it. But, and then I think that was in June. I found that out.
Right.
And then, through setting things up, we found the closest hospital that could do the surgery, the extraction of the bone marrow. And we decided Georgetown. A few different dates got thrown around, so we had to work that out. I had to work that out with my coordinator, which Be the Match was great. And if you feel compelled to, I think you can sign up online. They'll send you a kit or something,
like a DNA kit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, cool. and you can be put into the registry. But time grew closer to the date of donation,
extraction. Yeah.
Yep. And I really did not feel too nervous about it.
You were cool as a cucumber. I mean, we would talk. We're like, oh my goodness.
I actually lost some sleep that night. It's not like it's an extremely dangerous procedure, but it's still surgery. And as a parent, you really have to. It was kind of hard, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, we tried to hold it in and be chill like you were.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. And I thought I would be more nervous when I got to the hospital. When I'm actually about to do it. But really,
you were not.
The doctors, the surgeon, the nurses were all at Georgetown Hospital in DC. They were all great, very nice.
They were amazing. They really were.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
And the surgeon took me through what's going to happen.
Drew pictures and everything.
Pictures of how they're going to do it. And, that kind of calmed me down a little more.
Me too. Yeah.
And he told me that Georgetown is one of the I guess most popular places to do it. I think they do the most. They get the most donations in the U.S. So
it's one of the best hospitals in the country. Presidents go there. People that are
I believe it. And so it was pretty simple. They do take a little more blood, put you to sleep, and then you wake up and it was fairly simple. I just had to stay in the hospital for probably like 6 more hours, and then I was discharged and on my way to recovery.
Asked them to get you spring you early, but they wanted to watch you, make sure you were okay, which I appreciate. I do. I know. I mean, I know you felt like you were ready to go pretty soon, and me too, but they were just pretty amazing. And interesting enough, he says that during surgery, they'll take a little bit of the bone marrow and they'll send it to a lab like real fast.
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
Right, while you're in surgery, and they do a count.
Right.
And they say, and they say that there is no real scientific way really to know how many stem cells you're going to have in your blood.
They don't really like he was making a joke of how like this 16-year-old chain smoker who's been smoking for 30 years. So that's ironic.
Couldn't even happen. Yeah.
So it's really kind of random. Well, not random, but ultimately,
there's no absolute here. I mean, you could be 16 and donate blood marrow or bone marrow, and it not be too good.
Right.
You could be an out of shape person smoking and 80 years old, and it'd be good.
Right. And so they make sure they don't take too much. I think mine was 1,500 milliliters of blood or bone marrow.
Yeah.
And I think they ended up taking 1,200 because the stem cells are in the blood or the bone marrow was great. So
you had wonderful blood, they said.
So they didn't have to take as much. I think it was 20% of my blood count.
Yeah.
So, obviously you feel weak, you feel dizzy and stuff. But ultimately, it really, I mean, it's been, it's been like a week and a half, and I already feel great. I feel like probably 90% better or recovered.
So would you do this again?
Yeah. So my coordinator with Be the Match, well, actually, before I get to that,
go ahead. Yeah.
So after I woke up from my surgical procedure, they already pretty much, I think I woke up at 10 a.m. and my bone marrow was already on a plane at 12, 2 hours after.
Amazing.
Already going to the hospital or wherever the patient needed it to go. And so it's amazing how fast everything is and how efficient our healthcare, I guess, is now.
Yeah, the way they have it worked out, it was just really cool. And I just was so amazed everybody that talked to you was like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. Even the people at the hotel. And the thing is, they take care of your expenses while you're there and your companions' expenses. And just everybody is just wonderful. So, it was just a great experience, me watching you. Of course, I was so proud, did shed a little tear after I left you because I was just so proud of you and just so thankful that you had this willing heart to do this.
Yeah. And, everybody's, saying how proud they are of me.
How does that make you feel?
I really don't feel like it was that big of a deal to me.
Right.
Obviously, I know how big of a deal it is, but I really felt like, it was just a thing I had to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that in itself is honorable. That is because, you most likely saved a life.
Right. Yeah. And I can get into just a little bit about, so my coordinator with Be the Match, they've already called me twice since checking up on me, making sure I get back to baseline with my recovery. So me and her talked a little bit on Wednesday, and she again thanking me for doing this selfless act for a stranger, and I was just like it's really like it's what I got to do, and what better way of presenting the gospel to somebody as selfless sacrifice, where like Jesus, we didn't deserve it, but he sacrificed himself for us, and so in that way it's like it's my duty kind of to do this.
Wow.
I don't really, it's not me, doing it.
Holy Spirit.
Right. And hopefully I'll get to meet this young lady eventually. After a year, you can choose to consent to either get contact information and not be anonymous anymore. So hopefully, things work out. And obviously, if not, it's the Lord will work it out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I can meet her one day and that'll be an awesome experience. And if not, it is what it is. I'd still do it again. And hopefully I can, donate more. So we'll see.
And we're going to be heading out to Tanzania in a couple months.
Yeah.
And if anyone, you ready for that?
Yeah, I think I'd say I'm a little more nervous about that than I am about the donation.
That's interesting because I think sometimes God gives us more courage with certain things, and but you know what? Once you do this, you're going to be changed. It's going to be life changing, probably just as much as donating bone marrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put the organization that you went through. We'll put their website and everything in the show notes. So if you're interested in doing something like this, definitely look into it. We'll also put a link in there if you feel so led to give towards their Africa trip. And that was it was kind of tickled me because that was one of the first things you told me when you woke up. You're like, okay, I can do Africa now. Yeah. And so you don't remember that?
Well, I was kind of in the joking terms of if I don't, if I didn't survive the procedure. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's correct.
And he's single, ladies.
Oh, no. Don't do that to him. Okay, he's about ready to bop him on the head with a microphone now. All right. Well, we, of course, as your parents, are very thankful and proud of you. And I love how you've turned this into an experience to, be a witness to others too. And I'm just thankful for you. So please do pray for this young lady, that this will work and everything will go well. And it'll be cool if you do get to meet her someday. But, if you don't meet her on this side, maybe you'll meet her in heaven. Hopefully she knows the Lord. And if not, we'll pray for that as well. But we're very proud of you. Very proud of you and very thankful. Any last words?
From me? Oh, not really. I mean, I think, it's a great organization that, really wants to potentially save lives and be there for their patients, and their recipients, as well as the donators. And they have like all sorts of Facebook groups that people share their experiences and what they're going through. And so it's just very eye-opening to the world of just helping people. Yeah.
And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to be light in darkness. He wants to be salt to the world. And sharing the gospel verbally is important, but we also have to illustrate it by example. And I think once again, we're proud of him, Gabriel, proud of you, and just what God's doing. And this is an example of how God can take a mess, turn to a message for his glory, for your good.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day. Goodbye.